Salut, salut, salut. Happy Friday. Can you hear me? Please send a comment with your name, where you are, and tell me that you're ready. Okay? It's going to be hot today. So I need to hear from you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Can you hear me? And can you see me? Let me know. I'm waiting. We have a few minutes. Our guest is also going to join us in a few minutes. So please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. Thank you so much for joining. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me your name, your city, where you are listening from, and let me know if you're ready, okay? I can't see any comments, so I don't know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and if everything is fine. Let me know. It says that you can hear me. I think I see a comment that says you can hear me. You're in Belgium. Jimeli, félicité. In Belgium, and we have who else? Ondoa, Titi Ondoa. Who else? I can't see you, but I can hear you. Okay, good. Can you hear me and can you see me? Please let me know. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to our weekly edition of the Guest Life Talk. Is our education here. I'll say financial education as a whole, but specializing in the real estate. Lise can fact. Oh, notre success story. We can see you now. Okay, great. That's awesome. I'm glad you can see me. Unfortunately, I cannot see you. So is there anyone who wants me to see them? I don't want to be the only one you're going to see today. So the guest is going to be with us in a few minutes. He was on a trip and just now checking in. So today we're talking about the importance of credit and how you can leverage credit to build a fortune in real estate. Idris Mongwe, bienvenue. Yes, it's okay now. I can see and hear you. Yes, that's awesome. Okay, great. Who else do we have? Be Sarah, always there. Good. Welcome. Who else do we have today? Invite your friends, please. We should be starting in about 3 minutes at 8:05. So you have time to invite your friends. Sharing is caring. 2 more minutes to invite your friends. I hope you had a great week. I had an amazing week. I had a transaction this week that generated I would say, what was that? It's okay. About $50,000, or is it 40 or 50? $50,000 in equity, 40 or 50,000. I'm not very good at math. In equity, instant equity, the same day, immediately after acquiring that asset. So yeah, I feel good. This was a great week as an investor myself in real estate. And also I closed on a property this week for one of my clients. And my client is very happy. It's a first-time investor. And the client will be making a very good cash flow, $800 a month. And also the property is set to appreciate about $100,000 by next year, because we have a lot of things happening in the area where I directed my client to buy the property. So I hope you're going to contact me if you need to buy properties. I'm your person. I'm the cash flow queen. I'm going to make sure you make some cash flow. All right. Have you invited your friends yet? We have 1 more minute to go. And please like the video, share the video. I just show some love, right? Some encouragement. I'm not here because I know more than everyone, but because I like to share. I like to share as I go, right? So even if I don't know everything, I share what I know, right? I share what I know as I go. That's how I do it. And all those who know me know that, right? If I know something, I share something. So please do that. If you're gonna follow and learn something, I just share. That's the least I can ask you. All right. So I'm gonna see if our guest is available yet. Not yet, but we're talking about credit today. What kind of questions are you gonna have so that I can get those ready for our guests? Questions about credit? Type them in the comment section. I'm trying to log in on my computer so I can see your questions. So how was your week, Titi Ondoa? How was your week? I hope everything went well. Anything special? Did you do something special in real estate? Did you take a training? Did you contact a lender this week? Did you check your credit score to see where your credit score is? Did you try to pay off some bills to improve your credit score? What did you do? Is there something special that you did this week, to work towards your goals in real estate? Let me know. I'm waiting to read. I want to see some progress. If we come here every week and we don't see any progress, we might as well just stop if it's not being helpful. So any progress, anyone? Linda, anything new this week? Did you speak to a lender? No? Nobody had any progress this week. Interesting. So what have you guys been doing? Patrick, are you connected tonight? What have you been doing this week? Anything new? While we wait for our guests. No? Okay, I got my taxes done. That's amazing. Checked my credit and came up with a plan. I'm clapping for you. See, I'm very happy. This is the reward that you can give me. The best reward that you can give me is really to have, start building that plan for yourself and taking small steps to get to the point where you're making your millions in real estate. So I'm glad you did that. When you do your taxes, you have an idea what your financial situation is. If you are an employee, you're probably going to get a refund, but sometimes you still pay a little bit. But if you own a business, chances are that you're not going to receive a refund, but you're going to be able to write off a lot of things, right? A lot of expenses. Very soon we're going to get to a point where we can have gatherings, conventions, where we can all meet together and network, and those are things that, you're going to be able to write that off on your taxes because it's all business. And when you invest in real estate, it's a business. When you have rental income, it's a business. That's what they call Schedule E, I believe, on the taxes. So it's very important. For me, no, I'm just here to learn the requirements of being a homeowner. So are you a homeowner yet, or are you planning on becoming a homeowner? If yes, how soon? Okay, I don't see you guys sharing. So please share. We're gonna give maybe 2 more minutes to our guest, and then we're gonna start talking about credit. Please share if you can. All right, so now I'm logged in on my computer. I should be able to see all your comments more easily because right now it's very far away. Invite some people, please. Okay, I see that a few of you are sharing. I am planning on becoming one. Great. So you know the steps, right? You have to check your credit, make sure your credit is in good shape. You have to talk to a lender to know what you can qualify for based on your past 2 years income statements or taxes. You have to connect with a very good realtor who's going to assist you with your strategy, your plan, right? So make sure that you have a good vision as to where you want to go. If you want to get your first real estate property, we recommend that you go for a multi-family, like a duplex or a triplex or a quadruplex. That's what we recommend. But you can also get a very good townhouse, and that townhouse is going to generate a little bit of cash flow, but a lot of equity, right? Because it's not a multi-family, so there are a lot more people interested in buying townhouses than there are people trying to buy investment properties. So you'll probably be able to build more equity faster on a townhouse. So whatever you choose, yeah, you just need a good strategy. I have always had a good credit. Awesome. Yes. Always paying your bills on time. That's amazing. All righty. Let me see if I can call our guest and see if he's done checking in. 1 second. All right. So what else have you guys been doing this week? Anyone else? Yeah, I am planning on becoming a homeowner. Okay. I need to know the requirement. Okay. That's good. Oh, another thing that I forgot to tell you, I only told you about the great, something great that happened this week. But this week also, and that's for you to learn, right? Learn from this, from my experience. That's why I like to share. I had a special situation with a tenant whereby the tenant called and said, okay, there's a leak in the basement. And the tenant said that the first time, like around 1 a.m., there's a leak in the basement. That was taken care of the next day. We're very quick at fixing things to make sure that property is always good. A week later, about less than 10 days later, the same tenant sends again a message at 1 a.m. There's a leak again in the basement. So we're thinking like, okay, this property, there has never been an issue with the basement. Where does the leak come from all of a sudden twice in such a short period of time? And so we sent the plumber back to the property the next day. And the plumber, we require that the plumber gives us exactly the details as to what happened, what caused the issue, and also make sure that they educate the tenant. They found out that the tenant is using wipes. So I feel like this is giving me an idea when I'm writing my lease, when I'm preparing my lease, I have to make sure that moving forward, I'm going to add a line in the lease that says no use of wipes, so that when there is a situation like that, really it can be a reason for me to just terminate the contract, put an end to it, put you out of my house because you're not treating the house as properly. And so the plumber found out that they were using wipes and very hard tissues, and that caused the block the first time and the second time. So they fixed the issue, gave recommendations to the tenant, and I decided to forward the bill to the tenant. No French today. Sorry, no French today, only English. So I forwarded the bill to the tenant. Okay, so yeah, here we are. There is we paid the first bill, but the second bill, yeah, thank you for saying that. I'm using my own internet today, not my neighbor's internet. Yeah, thank you. So the second bill, we sent that one to the tenant, and the tenant got upset and sent us a portion of the lease that said the landlord is responsible for all repairs to make sure that the house is in a good habitability condition. That was Article 19 in my lease. And they thought that because I'm an African woman, I don't read. Unfortunately for them, I make sure that the leases that we have are very professionally done. That's why when my clients buy investment properties, I tell them, don't try to go write your own lease. Don't try to do things, the cheap way. Make sure that you have a professional, you have a lawyer who is going to draft your lease in a very professional manner, keeping into account your local laws and everything. and my lease is very professional. So I went back in my lease. I searched for the portion that says if there is a misuse in my property, the tenant is responsible for any expenses, for any kind of damages that may occur. And I copied that section, sent it to the tenant as well. I said, okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but there is a section here. If there's a misuse by the tenant, you're in charge of the expenses. And the invoice clearly says that you caused the issue. Guess what? I told them this is what's going to happen. You're either going to pay for those expenses, all right, the work that was done, or the contract is going to be terminated. In the area where my property is, there is no inventory. So if you're looking for a rental property, there isn't one. If they're moving out today, it's going to be hard for them to find another place to live. Guess what? The next day, I receive a message stating that they have paid that invoice, right? So I hope you guys are learning a lesson here. Number one, make sure that you are working with a professional legal expert to draft your lease. Number two, read. Please, guys, if you're going to be an investor, if you're going to be a leader, leaders are readers. Read your own lease before having the tenant sign so that you know everything that's in it. Number three, do not let somebody influence you, right? Regardless of how they're coming at you, don't let them influence you. They're going to give you the impression that it's your fault, I'm not going to do this. And you're going to be like, oh my God, what if they sue me? No, 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 no. Do not worry. If you do things properly, the right way, see that the first time I fixed the issue, right? No questions asked. But the second time, that means there is a problem. There's another problem that we have to look at. So I hope you learned something from my experience this week. If you did, please let me know in the comment section. What did you learn about my experience that I just shared with you as a landlord? Anything that you learned from that? I hope that you learned something. So we have our guest now. Hold on one sec. Okay, here's the guest. Hi, Emma. Can you hear me? Emma?
Yes, you can. Yeah,
Okay,
I can
good
hear you.
evening. Are you all settled now?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. Yes, great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? Before I introduce you, Emma, yeah, I was telling a story here. And yes, everything that we do, all our properties are managed under an LLC. So even the invoices are sent to the LLC. Everything is done very, very professionally. So yeah, there is no doubt that it gets you covered. And someone says always create an LLC to keep yourself safe. Also, very insightful. Read that term of agreement. Absolutely. And someone else says, way to go. Awesome. And laws are crucial in the United States. That's the reason why we encourage you to invest in the United States, because this is the only place where not the only place, but one of the places where you have the most protection. The laws protect everyone. As long as you're right, the laws will protect you most of the time. So as compared to other countries where, people can manipulate the laws, they can have friends in the judiciary system and all that. There's no friendship here, right? It's straightforward. So that's why we encourage people to invest here first, make money here, and then you can invest in very risky part of the world, right? Part of the world. Okay, so our guest is here, and I have the honor and pleasure to introduce to you somebody who's my as an elder brother to me. We are from the same region, and he's also a mentor and leader that I've worked with in many instances. I when I got to know him, I learned so much every day from him. Especially one thing that touched me the most was his availability to always help out, to always assist me, and always help the community get move further. And the goal that we have here is to make sure that we have a lot of millionaires, right? So we want everyone to become a millionaire. We want to build generational wealth. And there is no better person to talk about it than somebody who is a financial expert. He owns franchises like Liberty Tax and all that. He's a tax expert. He's also a real estate expert and investor himself. So when you have somebody who does your taxes, who also knows real estate, who also invests in real estate, that's even better for you. And so tonight he wants to discuss credit with us because he's also an expert at repairing credit. So please help me welcome my leader, Emmanuel. I want some shout out in the comment section, right? Welcome, Emmanuel. How are you doing, brother? Welcome.
Yes, I'm doing very good, Leader Prudy. How about you?
I'm doing amazing. I closed a great deal this week. As I was
Wow.
saying, I bought a land, and that land immediately is giving me a $50,000 equity right then and there because I bought it cash. So I'm sitting here and I need some champagne. I don't know if somebody can bring me some Dom Perignon right now, but that's where I'm going right after here. But it was a nice week overall, closed on a property for one of my clients. It was amazing. What about you?
Well, I'm having a very good week, and I spend my week, looking forward to this moment, to this conference with your network, with some investors. And
Yes.
thank you so much for your introduction.
Oh,
I really very much appreciate it.
there's a lot to say about you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna let you go, dive right in because, I appreciate the patience of everyone. They are excited. They want to hear from you. So please just go ahead and just tell us everything that we need to know to use our credit, leverage our credit to make millions in real estate, right? Specifically, for that purpose, and then we can have other opportunities to talk about other areas as well. So I'll just let you speak and then I'll take down the questions from the audience.
Okay, so that's great. So really, Leader Prudy, my focus though really is on the audience today, and I love your platform. Is very neat and all that. So if you can help, let me know kind of how many people we have in the audience,
Hmm.
and uh, and how are they going to be interacting with us? Is that
Hmm.
going to be through you, or are they going to be entering some of their questions or things like that in the chat room?
Right.
And I hope I wasn't too late because I just arrived. I was trying to settle in. But what I would like to do though, regardless of how many people you have in the audience today, because I had to have them wait, I would be offering a free credit consultation
Oh my
to
goodness.
anyone in the
I
audience
need
who.
some love in the comment section, guys. Ooh, Leader Emmanuel just dropped a great opportunity for you guys to go get your credit consultation free of charge. We currently have, I think, 25 people connected. We have multiple platforms though. We People are watching you from my page, Coach Lisa Prudy. We also have people watching you from my YouTube channel. We also have people watching you from our group, Millionaire Real Estate Investors. And we have more people watching you from Millionaire Real Estate Investors YouTube channel. So you have an audience on 4 different platforms right now. Those who are currently in the audience, some of them dropped earlier on, but maybe are coming back. So definitely those who are right here right now, I need you to write a comment right now. And I'm going to timestamp this conversation with Leader Emmanuel. It's exactly 8:23 p.m. here in Black Rock Estates. And
Mhm.
whoever is going to tap in the comment section, um, credit consulting, consultation. You have 2 minutes to type that in the comment section. At 8:25, it's going to stop. And all those people, we're going to recap that. My team is going to send it to you. Please send a shout out, send some love to Leader Emmanuel. Thank you. That's the best way to apologize. Be late again next time, Leader Emmanuel. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leader Prudy. So my goal again is the audience, right? And I would do my best to be as short as possible, presenting so that we can actually interact with the audience and take their questions, their concerns, and be able to add some value their way. Not
Great.
what Emmanuel, feels that people need to know because there's so much things to talk about here.
Right.
So
Good.
yeah.
So they have the comment section to write their questions.
Mhm.
Nobody's gonna come on live, and I'm taking notes of the most relevant ones. I'm gonna ask you those questions after your after your presentation, which can be about 15 minutes. And then after that, we take the rest of time for questions.
That sounds great. So yeah,
Mhm.
and so I'm gonna start by kind of drawing a little bit from what you said initially, and I'm glad, I'm privileged to be on this platform. And why should the audience listen to us? I mean, listen to me. We are not reading from a book to share some information here that what we think and feel should be right. Specific to credit, I have interacted over the course of the past probably 10 years with hundreds of scenarios regarding personal credit. And just to make sure I'm focusing this conversation, we are talking here about personal credit. There is also, beside personal credit, what we call business credit. Those are two separate things. And I would love to come in at some other point where we can actually
Yes,
discuss business credit
definitely. I
because
think that's going to be very valuable. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
Leader Prudy made a very great point here that when you're investing, hold your properties in an LLC. And remember, when you have an LLC, it's an entity, it's a business that you own. And also be aware that your business within the United States law can be treated as a person as well and has also its own credit, which can be totally separated from your personal credit. There are many advantages when you start to invest or create to own your own company. There are many advantages to building a business credit. Why? Because the amount of credit that a business is going to end up qualifying with would be so far greater than what a person, a human can actually qualify for. Think, for example, about Walmart. Do you think that Walmart as an organization does have their own uh, credit, business credit? Absolutely. Or let's say you decide to tomorrow to incorporate your LLC. Let's call it ABC Real LLC. Yes, you can build the credit of that LLC, which is totally separate from yours. That is a separate conversation, not in the scope of this discussion. So we're talking today about personal credit. Really quickly, what is it and why does it matter? I believe that in the audience, many people know what that is. They will have the chance to be asking questions. But in a nutshell, it is simply a record, a standard record of your credibility as a person that resides within the United States of America. Since we are focusing here in the case of America, hopefully, Leader Prudy, that we don't have people maybe from Canada
We
or
actually do,
Europe
but
or
I
whatnot.
guess they have their own credit over there. I'm pretty sure good habits that you're going to share here will surely apply in Canada, in Belgium. We have people from London watching, and also they intend to invest here. So you don't know who it might help. Go based on the United States, but they will learn from it, I'm sure.
Very good. So again, what is it? It is simply a standard, and I insist on the word standard report. It's a standard report of your credibility. Somehow, let us call it of your behavioral actions when it comes to money. That is what a credit report essentially is. And we're going to get into the details of that. And why does it matter? If you live within the United States and whether you plan on investing or not, credit score literally means everything. Remember, we defined it as having to do with your credibility. So you are regarded as what your credit score is in reality. And that's why it matters. If you live in the United States, there is no way of escaping credit. Let's talk about renting. If you decide to go rent, we've had people that have come from our home continent of Africa, and some are ready to rent the next day because they probably came in with a lot of millions of CFA that translate into dollars, where they can actually afford an apartment right away. But because there is no credit that has been built yet, or let's say because the credit file does not even exist yet, they are not able to actually rent. So whether you're renting, whether you decide to even have, in some cases, a cell phone, not nowadays because we do have a lot of the decentralized pay as you go phone credit, I mean, phone plans. I remember when I came to the US about 18 years ago, I went to apply for to get a cell phone and I was declined simply because I did not have any credit. back then. So if you decide to, even in some cases, as you're going to look for a job, it might matter. Not so much today because employers are hurting for people, but it used to be that you apply with ABC company, and later when you check your credit report, you see that effectively they have made a soft inquiry into your credit. Let's say you decide to own a car, and then if you decide to actually take it a step further by owning a home, or even better yet, when you decide to go into investing, some are actually preferring to go into education. It does not matter what is it that you're trying to do to get your life in order within the United States. Your credit, your personal credit score matters. So that's why we're talking about it here. Now, why should you keep a good credit? The only reason is you have to keep a good credit so that you can find it possible to actually get around some of all those things we've mentioned, but also so that you can have the right terms whenever you go and seek and apply for credit. By right term, I want to say here, so you can pay the best interest rate that can be offered, and so you can also benefit from the right terms that actually obtaining a loan is going to have to do with. So let me insist again, why does credit score matter? It is as important, if not, let me call it, and you might challenge me if I'm wrong here, your credit score or report in the United States is actually going to be more important than your grades, than your academic grades. One of the things that us Africans we are great at is actually schooling. We do a lot of schooling, and I'm sure that the audience can relate to that. Let me be very clear here. In the system, you will be asked always when it comes to money. And a lot of us, we are here because we are seeking a better life, right? We are seeking success. Your credit score is going to become more relevant to your success than your grades in school are going to have to do with. If you are going to take something important that I mentioned today, please note, challenge me on it. Let us have a conversation about it. If you reside within the United States, your credit score is going to have more impact to your success, to your personal and your business success, than your grades from whatever career you have studied in college
Mm.
is going to have to do with. So here we are talking about the business of life, if I can put it that way. So that's kind of what I would say around what credit score is, and then why it matters, why we're talking about it. So let us jump to the next point here, and we will be done soon. What is the structure of a personal credit? So again, remember, it has to do with credibility. That credibility is not going to be you telling somebody that, no, I'm always good. I mean, if you give me money, I'm going to repay you. I mean, look at me. I mean, my family. No, that's not how it works. So there is a structure here that is going to be managed by three credit organizations. And those are what we call the credit bureaus. And those are number one, TransUnion, number two, Equifax, and then number three, Experian. Those are the three organizations that are independent organizations that are going to be managing the information about your credibility. So let me repeat, three organizations will be obtaining the data, processing the data in a standardized fashion, and we're going to discuss that standard. And they are the ones that will be reporting that credit of yours every time you decide to see what it is, or every time any organization decides to pull that credit. In the case of real estate, since we're talking about real estate, the best form of investment there is, the credit, the lending institution you go to seek financing to do your real estate will not be, they will take your statement for first in the form of an application. They're going to ask you questions about this and that, your asset, your liabilities, and things like that. But they are going to go and refer to those three credit bureau, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That's where they're going to pull the information to be able to have the facts about your money behavior, about your credibility. and therefore decide whether or not they're going to extend credit to you. And number two, what type of terms and interest rate, things like that, you are going to be able to qualify for. So that is kind of how it goes in a nutshell. Then how is that structured? So the structure of a credit report or is very consistent. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, there might be some slight differences on how they process a few things, but they are going to be looking at 6 elements, which we are going to present here really quickly. When we get into Q&A, which is going to be more interactive, you can ask more about those. They are going to be looking at your payment history. Number one, payment history. Number two, they're going to be looking at your utilization rates. Number three, they will be looking at any derogatory mark on your credit profile. Here we are on point number three. Number four, they will be looking at the age of your credit. Number five, they will be looking at your credit mix. The credit mix is also what some of them call total accounts. And again, please make some notes. It's going to be better when we actually answering your question to drill into those to fully comprehend what they are. And finally, they're going to be looking at the number of credit inquiries that you have had. That's over a certain time frame. And usually, if you have an inquiry, it's going to stay on your credit for 2 years before it leaves. So 6 elements here that TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are going to be looking at: payment history, utilization rate, derogatory marks, the age of your credit, the account mix, the total type of accounts that you have, and then the number of inquiries that you do have. Then when it comes to this, that is the report. The scoring system works on a scale, and it goes anywhere from 300 all the way up to 800, and so it might be more than 800 or 850 or so. But again, that has to do over there with the scoring. Okay, so as they look at the report, how you're performing against any of the 6 elements on those reports, that is going to be feeding directly into the scoring system. The better your performance on each of those 6 points, the higher your report is actually, your score is actually going to be. And of course, the better you are going to be when you decide to seek credit, or when you decide now to go for financing in your real estate investing. So that is essentially the structural element of a credit report. Then on the last point here, I did mention, how do we build and how do we fix credit? Building credit means is not a random thing. Absolutely not. When anyone wants to build personal credit or fix personal credit, you will need to have visibility over what? The 6 elements that we've talked about. You have to have visibility over payment history, utilization rate, derogatory mark, age of credit, inquiry, credit mix. Once you have the visibility over that, you will understand why is it that you don't have the score that you may need to have. And at that moment, you would have the information to go in and start now to act, to do things in order to impact each of those 6 elements, and then be able now to change your credit score. Okay, so that is how the building or fixing part does happen. Number one, we get the report. Number two, we analyze those 6 elements. And then number three, we take action. How do we take action? Remember, by communicating with those 3 institutions we talked about: TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, or by actually doing certain things to your personal finance in order to change the information, which data now is going to feed into your credit report and then change the score as you prefer. Please note, TransUnion, Equifax, and then Experian. A friend of mine, when we were working a few years ago, he had suffered bad credit in this country, even from a loan he co-signed someone for, and the person never paid. It was a $5,000 loan, a lot of money back then, probably 10 years ago, to student loans that he ended up not being able to pay, and totally his credit was damaged. And he had totally, completely given up on all that. When I told him no, we did a credit analysis for him. I said, listen, and he was very consistent with his job. I said, I think we can take you from the, he was like 505 or 510. I can't remember so well. I said, I think we could switch. We can take your credit to a 650 or 620 plus within pretty much, within 30 to 90 days. He did not believe me a bit, because poor friend had gone for so long with the bad credit that he had totally given up on everything credit. But what's the funny story about it? So as we started to talk about those three bureaus, he kept referring to one of them as Equinox. I said, no. I said, Peter, no. It's Equifax. It's not Equinox. And so long story short, we started to work on his credit, and it started to jump up quickly within a few weeks. And by the end of 60 or 90 days, he had climbed up to like more than 620, and he started to have those offer for credit come to him. He had not believed it was going to be possible. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to encourage you. If you are on this call today, if you have poor credit, don't worry. If you have poor credit, don't worry. Why? It can be so quick. You can relatively, within a matter of few weeks, take your credit up by hundreds and plus points. So that is very possible. You're working with a great leader, Leader Prudy. She is well networked, and there are all sort of resources available, affordable and free, and or free, which you're going to be able to tap into to build your credit. And finally, in real estate, what is the relevance of credit in real estate? You may be very surprised by my answer. Good credit is going to help your real estate investing so well. Why? Because you can quickly qualify for financing at the best terms. That's what good credit will do. Now, please listen to me very well and hold me accountable. I'm not reading from a book. Leader Pudi today was talking about, her experience this week with investing. I have currently, as we speak, last month I completed some refinancing of some holding. This week and this month, I'm actually working on a couple more refinancing. Last week I had some tenant issues and so on and so forth. So what we are doing here is actually sharing our experiences with the network. So you can rest assured that you're in good hands, and we are not trying to just give you some random information that we think or feel might work or not. Again, good credit is going to enable you to quickly qualify for financing and at the best term. Now listen to me. Don't run away from the millionaire network in real estate investing because you don't have good credit. Even if you have bad credit and you decide for some reason that you're not going to fix it, remember, because it is real estate is so good that if you train yourself to be able to find the best properties, the moment you've locked in a contract on a good property, your bad credit is not going to stop the financing of that asset. Okay, let me repeat this. Even with bad credit and a good deal, you are still going to be able to find financing for real estate. Why? Because that credit is secured credit. It is not unsecured credit. It is backed up and collateralized by that piece of property, by that real estate. The only difference is that you are not going to get the
A good
best
rate.
terms and rate that are available out there. But again, let no reason, lack of money or lack of credit, let no other reason prevent you from investing in real estate. So that's what I wanted to share with quickly, Mama Prudi. You can take it over and let us get into the second phase.
That's amazing. This was fast. I want to learn that skill of being precise and concise like you. All this time you've been a mentor, and I think I'm still struggling on that side, but I'll get there one day. So if there's nothing that you remember from from what leader Emmanuel just said, remember that nothing, and I mean nothing, zero, nothing should prevent you from investing in real estate, not even bad credit. However, if you have good credit, excellent credit, you get better terms. And this is the best way for you to make millions in real estate, which is what we want for everyone here. This is the best way for you to build generational wealth. And I want to ask you a question myself, Emmanuel, that's going to help people kind of visualize what we're talking about here. When I talk about millions, they feel like, oh, she's kind of like she's exaggerating the numbers. How are you going to make millions in real estate? But can you help me paint a picture to people? You said earlier, if you come from Africa and you have money to buy an apartment, great. You're gonna go buy a condo or an apartment, whatever. You're gonna go spend 200,000 and buy one, or 300,000 and buy one. That's $300,000. That is all in one single piece of real estate property. Can you explain how fast someone can actually build wealth when they're using credit, very good credit, as compared to somebody who's using cash? It's a whole another presentation, but can you just give them an idea so they understand the power behind having good credit?
Okay. That's such an excellent question when it comes to real estate. And I think Leader Prudy does a great job at definitely changing, working with the network to support the way we think. Uh, Folks, that's where you start. In real estate, when you start to hear 300,000, 150,000, and you're sitting over there, you're like, wait a minute, I have been working for 5 years. I have not saved 1,500. What are they talking about? If
Yeah,
that discourages you, that simply means that you yet have not comprehended the business we're talking about. Spend the time to just change the way you think. Now, let me be clear here. You do not need, you don't absolutely need your own money from your own pocket to buy real estate. Let me repeat again, I'm not reading from a book. We are here to share our experience for over the past 10, 12 years investing in real estate in America. There are zero down deals that
yeah,
you can make.
zero down. Yeah,
Now, zero down deal that you can make and that you can go on after you have completed the deal within a matter of weeks or months. You can go on now to control real estate with equity in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
that's right.
If you are a savvy enough and hungry enough investor to continue to work hard and then look for those deals, by building a few of those deals, your network is going to be growing and can eventually, yes, reach the million
That's
dollars mark. So
that's
let me,
absolutely amazing.
I like this topic a lot because it's very fundamental.
Mm,
Folks, if you're in the business of saving to build a million, when you accomplish that in the United States, write a book, tell us how you did it. We are going to buy the book. That is not going to happen. Now, listen, the quickest way to build your network from negative X thousands of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars and then to work your way over to the million mark is to start to understand the game of investing in real
right.
estate,
That's right.
acquiring properties in the right neighborhoods, the right type of properties, tapping into understanding the data, understanding how to structure a deal, the right partnership, building the right credit, and so on and so forth, and controlling real estate that comes with cash flow, that comes with all the tax advantages, depreciation, and so on and so forth, and of course, appreciation. As you have people that are renting those pieces of property, paying down the principals and all the expenses from those real estate, you will be naturally growing your wealth because they're going to be decreasing the amount of debt that is involved with the real estate, and you're going to be growing your wealth and your network. If you're going to start to save, $25 this week, $10 that week to reach 1 million, the inflation even will keep dragging you down.
That's
But
right.
remember that what's happening right now in the United States, inflation is going up, and what's happening to property values? It is going up.
Yep.
We have some properties in our portfolio that, between spending 3 months without checking at prices and 3 months later deciding to spend some time and look at the prices, we were so surprised that what has happened here. So prices have gone up 20% just over the last 3 months. Remember, when the price is going up, that is indirectly the equity that you control in those properties that is actually going up. I may be jumping around too much, but in a nutshell, I'm trying to just make us understand that if you're going to be buying, I'm going to land on your question. If you're going to be buying with cash, that is the surest way to land the lowest return on your investment as possible.
Yep.
And if you're going to be buying in all cash, the moment you've done one deal, maybe you can be great again to do the second deal, and you're going to be stuck right there. If you stay in the all cash mentality over there, your real estate investing is going to stop pretty much all there. But if you're tapping into the power of leverage, remember, when you have $10,000 in your mind, it simply should mean that you are capable of buying at least $100,000 of real estate.
That's right.
If you scream to save $30,000, remember that in your mind, you should be able to control $300,000 of investment real estate. But if you have increased your education in real estate so as to think better, without $1,000 in your checking account, you can step out there and you can structure a deal of $100,000 or $200,000, which has the capability of still lending you a control over a portfolio of over $250,000. There are some applied case scenario that we could actually be doing, but let us have the investors get in and then start to ask specific questions so we
Yeah.
can walk them through some real life scenario and type of things.
Absolutely. We're going to do that. Leader Emmanuel, I want to give them a picture very quickly based on experience. And everybody who knows me knows that I work with experience and fact. I don't speak about things that I don't know anything about. Based on my experience as a realtor, as a professional realtor, average young new investors, they buy properties that cost an average of $200,000. And for them to buy the property of $200,000, they need to bring about 10,000. I hope somebody is taking notes. They need to bring about $40,000, which is 20% down payment. That's about $40,000. And they also need about $10,000 in closing costs, right? So technically, based on the average investor that I have around me that have been buying small properties as their first step, right? Their first property. If they have $300,000, what that means is that they are able to buy how many properties? Can somebody type that in the comment sections? If I tell you that they need $50,000 to buy a property of $200,000, which is including $40,000 down payment, $10,000 closing costs. With $50,000 right now, you contact me, we're going to get you a $200,000 property. And please put in the comment section with the $300,000 coming from Ghana or Nigeria or Cameroon. You go and you buy your property outright, and you have a rent. Let's say the rent is $3,000 because we always go with the 1% rule. Hopefully, the property is going to give you $3,000 every month with your $300,000 investment. Now, on the other hand, somebody has $300,000 and is leveraging. That's the right word for it. Leveraging good credit and credit in general. They invest $50,000 per property. How many properties can they buy? 6, right? Okay, so on one side, you're going to have someone with 6 properties. On one side, you're going to have someone with 1 property. What's going to happen there? You already see here that one person, maybe there can be an issue in that area, right, Leader Emma? Maybe there's going to be a problem there, and their property is probably going to, it's just one that they have. So now they're stuck with that one property. When you have six properties, you are diversifying and you are taking advantage of the power of leverage. On one side, one property, you have $3,000. Average return that my investors have with their first property, 200,000, average cash flow is $1,000. So basically, if they have six properties, they're making $6,000. Can somebody confirm this? Because I told you I'm not that good at math. But six times 1,000 is what? $6,000. That is somebody making that every month with the $300,000 investment. On the other hand, you came from Africa. Your parents gave you 300,000 to go buy one property. Then to finalize to end this section and take your questions, one person is actually having power over $1,200,000 asset. This is $1,200,000 worth of asset that the person is now going to have the opportunity to manage. Okay, on one side you're managing your 300,000. They're managing now 1,200,000. Now, what's going to happen is in one of the areas where the property is, maybe there's going to be a mosque that they're going to build. So a lot of Muslims are going to come and try to rent, and the rent is going to go up. Maybe Amazon is going to open a fulfillment center. Rents are going to go up. Maybe on the other property number 3, there's going to be a Macy's or a Starbucks or whatever. So at the end of the day, you're going to have diversification of your portfolio worth 1,200,000, and then the other person is right there with 300,000. I hope this paints a picture to you. And when we talk about making millions in real estate, this is what we're talking about. And I hope it's clear. So now, one of the questions that I got here, if it's clear, please put in the comment section, clear, or if you're French speaking, clair comme de l'eau de roche. We have a question from someone who's saying, is the credit score or the FICO score, is it accurate, or which bureau is the most accurate? And I want to add to that, is the Credit Karma, Mint.com, whatever credit-wise, your bank, whatever they're showing you every day, is that score accurate? I'm going to let you answer that.
Yes. So just to make sure I fully comprehend the question, what the credit bureaus are going to show you, is it accurate? Short answer, yes. Why? When you have a Credit Karma account, Credit Karma would be showing you TransUnion and Equifax, right? And if you want to have visibility over what all the 3 bureaus are reporting, I recommend creating a free TransUnion, a free Experian account. You're able to log on to Experian.com and actually have a free account over there. Yeah, they're going to be offering to sell you things. Don't jump into just buying stuff you may not need. So with a Credit Karma account, you're going to have visibility over your Experian and your Equifax, if I'm not wrong. Then you can create a TransUnion account where you actually are pulling your TransUnion account. So you are able to see all the 3. The 3 are rarely, sometimes they might be fairly close. You can see Equifax and TransUnion usually get pretty close, but Experian might be a little bit far out. Bottom line, the score that those 3 bureaus are showing you is the exact same thing that when, let's say, capital lending institution, that is where you've applied for a loan to buy real estate, when they pull the report, that's what they are going to see. You shouldn't be overly concerned by the minute, the little differences. I've seen people come and be like, "Oh, my credit just dropped like 3 points." Oh, I say, yeah, 3-point, big deal. I'm like, big deal. So in a nutshell, you should be focusing on the 6 elements, and you should be making an impact on those 6 elements to drive your score up. And understand that those companies have ranges. You can go for real estate. They can say, okay, we are going to need a credit score of minimum 650. At that point, you need to go to your Credit Karma account and also go to your Experian account and kind of make sure that those 3 that you are at least at 650, so that when they pull it, They don't find a 625 and they say, wow, because we only needed 650, we are not going to do the loan. And just so, because, before we jump too far ahead, in real estate, be prepared to hear no. Because one lending institution said no doesn't mean there are not many other options you can use. In my investing career, I've made that mistake. I still vividly remember locking up the contract for up to, I think, 2 properties, and ending up having to get out of the contract because I couldn't find financing.
Mm,
That is the moment where I used to just think that conventional financing was the only option I had.
mm,
So there's so much flexibility, but again, specific to credit, what you see in those 3 bureaus in your Credit Karma is accurate. That's true. What you want to be doing is spend time on the 6 elements, make some moves, and impact those numbers going up. Why? Because when the lending institution pulls your credit, what you see is what they are going to see. And depending on what their criteria are, that's what's going to decide whether they're going to lend or not.
good. So what I'm going to retain from what you just said is that you may think that your credit is bad, it's terrible, and you go talk to one lender, you get a no. But don't give up. You can speak to different lenders. You might be lucky enough to find one. In fact, recently a client of mine was declined at his credit union, where we think that credit union is actually the most flexible, but then turned around and went to a private lender and got his conventional loan approved there, even with a um, higher limit. So it's always good to have multiple options. And that remind me, Leader Ima, how long do you have when you are applying, let's say for mortgage, and you're getting you mentioned in your elements there are inquiries, I believe. So for the inquiries, for example, how long can you apply for a mortgage and only get one inquiry? Like instead of spreading it out and ending up with so many inquiries on your credit report.
You have great questions there, Leader Prudy, and that's kind of where I was, waiting for us to get to. Now, let us focus here. This is going to become the determination of whether you're going to be stuck with bad credit or whether you're going to control your credit. Before you allow any institution to run your credit, you should already be thinking and looking ahead and understanding the impact that is going to happen. When you
Mm,
get one inquiry to your credit report, it is going to stay on there for 2 years. It would be 2 years before that inquiry leaves. Now, let us get to the specifics. Inquiry alone, out of the 6, is the least impacting element on your credit score.
mm,
But remember that every time there's an inquiry on there, you are going to lose anywhere from 5 to 10 points, somewhere in between there. So that simply means before you allow anyone to actually go and pull and place an inquiry on your credit, you should already have come to some sort of understanding of the
mhm,
programs that they are offering, and you should have done a self inspection of your credit score to make
mm.
sure that your chances of qualifying for their program is actually very high. What is one
Wow.
of the things you do? One of the refinancing that we just did, that we're actually working on. When I spoke to my broker, he said, I have this program that is being offered by this bank, this private bank. And I said, what are your credit requirements? He said their credit requirement is a minimum of 650.
Mhm,
And him and I, the broker and I, we agreed that I was going to go to, uh, I did go to Credit Karma,
mhm.
and I printed a report of my partners.
Powerful. Is somebody taking notes? Go get your own report. Take
Yeah,
notes.
don't be very slow to allow anyone to run your credit, because when they run it, that information, number one, will drop your credit by anywhere between 5 and 10 points. Number two is going to be there for 2 years.
2 years.
Remember, when you reach more than 5 inquiries, I believe it's around 5, it could be 6 or 7, but let's just
Mm,
take that as an average. Once you have more than 5 inquiries, that element of your that 1 out of 6 elements of your credit score becomes red. It means that it is going to be shot. So when
wow.
they are looking at your 6 factors, and what am I trying to say here? So You can either be green on any factor, yellow, or red.
Mm,
Green means you're at standard, perfect. Yellow means you are in between the standard and the worst
mm,
case scenario. Red means that that factor is short. That factor is not going to be helping. It's actually going to be what is hurting your credit score. Let me take an example. Payment history. When your payment history is 99% to 100%, you're green. You're perfect.
mm.
When that payment history is 98%, you're yellow. That means that it is an area that is kind of okay and it could be impacting a little bit. If you're doing credit repair, for example, our goal would be to take you from the yellow to the green so that you can achieve perfection over there. And there are many ways that that can be done. But
Mhm.
let's go back to the credit inquiry. Credit inquiry, when you have one inquiry, you are still pretty much, I believe, green. The moment you two, three inquiry, you get into yellow. Once you've exceeded five inquiries, you are red. That
Right.
factor is short. It's gonna be
Good.
stay like that for 2 years. Now,
Got it.
word of caution: the lending is institution that's gonna damage your credit the most out there. Does anyone know who that is? Car dealership. I have nothing against car dealerships. What car dealerships are doing today is when you go there and you say, well, I'm gonna apply for financing, and especially if you have somewhere like OK Credit, they are going to have you apply. They're gonna run it through their database of lenders, and it could be seven lenders. You
Oh
are
my
going
God.
to go home next day, you seven inquiries on your credit.
Oh
And
my
yes, they
God.
will probably find you one that's gonna finance you, but guess what? You're gonna be stuck with those seven inquiries for the
But
next.
Mika, Emma, let me ask you this though. So does that mean you would then recommend for someone to find one lender, maybe their credit union or a lender that they have a good relationship with, get their own approval for the car, for the car that they want to buy, and then go and buy that car, rather than going to the dealership and having the dealership run the credit just like that wildly?
Question to ask any lender, whatever lender that is, what are your credit requirements?
Okay.
Whether you're going into a credit union, you want to buy a car, ask them what are your credit requirements, and they must have that in writing. They
Mm-hmm.
will tell you if you're between an 800, no, if you're 750 and more, you're gonna get a 2%. If you are a 750 to 680, you get this. If you have less than 620, we are not doing the loan.
That's right.
You remember you have access to your three reports, to your three
Yeah.
scores.
Mm,
You can go over there and see that grade from the lender, and you can look at your scores. The moment you allow them to actually run the inquiry, you already know what they are going to find. And
right.
then don't let them run and come back and tell you, no, we can't do the loan because you only have a 660. You're like, are you serious or what?
Mm,
Please don't make the mistake we have from stepping out there and making countless of those mistakes and learning the hardest way.
that's
This
right.
very information can spare you a lot of time, a lot of denials, and then actually make your financing much quicker.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Leader Emma. And I can't thank you enough for, being able to share that information free of charge. And although you're giving out this information, not many people are going to watch, but I want to commend those who are taking their time to come here. So I want you to give a shout out to yourself in the comment sections. Applaudissez pour vous-même parce que this is really powerful information you're sharing here. Sometimes we go to the dealership, we're thinking that one person is checking our credit, but then you go home and you receive 20 letters from different lenders that you did not even know. I have another question for you, and that's regarding credit. You said credit history or something like length of credit, I believe. So is there a way that you can give a tip, like are there any tips you can give to parents who have like 18-year-old or 15-year-old or 20-year-old that are going to have their own finance journey? Is there a way that they can probably like add the children to their credit and that can benefit the children? Like if they have a 7-year credit card or a 10 years credit card, would the children benefit from the parents adding them on the card? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, Leader Prudy is asking some some life-changing questions here. Short answer, yes, that's a possibility. And guess what? In some cases, it is the child that actually add the parent to their own credit to help the parent situation. So yes, and that is legally possible. You don't Let me be clear on this, and that's the law within the United States. It's good to understand the law and it's good to leverage the law. My oldest credit is as old as my oldest daughter.
Oh, wow.
That was my very first credit card.
And you never closed it.
I never closed it. Never ever closed it. And as of last month, I believe, we were working on some refinancing. And what I did, I added my partner, who is my wife. I added her as an authorized user to that oldest credit of mine because the element of age of your credit was
Age
she
of
was
credit. Yeah.
yellow. She was yellow in that aspect. Please pay attention. We love to share information because really that
This
is
is
where
powerful, powerful,
yes.
powerful.
When you do that, it doesn't take 1 year. Please pay attention here. Very, very important. I can add a partner to my credit card as an authorized user, and I have full legal right to do that.
Hmm.
It can be a friend. It doesn't have to be a family member.
Hmm.
It can be a partner.
But don't go and give your credit card to them unless you trust them, because somebody's going to go out there and shop and you'll be responsible.
The lender would actually mail a card to them, and you would just make sure that you tell them to destroy the card. And remember also that you can set some controls from
Correct.
that account
Hmm.
regarding that card.
Right.
But the most important thing I want to share is that it can happen, it can make the change to their credit score as early as the next day.
Hmm.
Let me repeat. You can add somebody for the reason of either impacting the age of their credit or for the reason of impacting their utilization rate, for example. Those are two factors.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
let me explain if it is a little bit confusing. If any partner or investor on the call has one credit card where they have used $1,000, is a credit card with a $1,000 limit, and they've used all that $1,000. Their utilization rate, if that is the only credit they have, their utilization rate is going to show 100%. It's going to be
Oh,
as
wow.
red as blood. That's going to be damaging them so bad. Now,
Mhm.
if they are my partner and I have a credit card with, let's say, $10,000
Mm.
with $0 utilized, I can add them to my card as a authorized user,
Mm.
and I can target because Credit Karma or my credit report would show me the day that that creditor reports. Very important. Very,
Mm.
very
When
important.
do they report? Yeah.
Understand the day they report. When you're making the change, make the change, let's say a week before they report. At, after those few days, when they report, guess what? My credit card of 10,000 is gonna all of a sudden show on the credit report of that partner.
Oh, wow. In
The
less
partner
than a
will
month.
go from credit limit of 1,000 and 100% utilization to credit limit of 11,000 less than 10% because it's going to be 1,000 divided by 11,000, however much that is.
Mm.
1,000 divided by 11,000 that we should have. Hold on.
Wow, that's powerful. Guys, you
1,000.
must have good friends, though. Now you understand why some girl asks a guy for their credit score before they start dating them, right? Now you
Okay.
get that, guys, go get good credit.
So that person will go from 100% utilization rate to 9%. Their credit is going to shoot up a lot of points, dozens and dozens of points. It could be 100 points. And they would go from red. And remember that your utilization rate is the second most important fact. It represents 30% of your
Mm.
overall credit score. So that's going to make a big difference. So those are enough things that is good to understand. And as you go into investing, it's more than the numbers. Relationships is
Right.
everything.
Right.
Over the years, we've built trust. The most important thing you can build out there before even your credit is trust. When you have the right partners, you are a good partner to find yourself.
Mm.
A lot of those things, when you get into a bind or you have a deal or things like that, you can quickly gather some resources around together, and then bam, go ahead and make that deal.
Leader,
Credit
I want to
can be
ask you a
fixed
question.
very quickly.
So, based on what you just said, what you mean right now is that if one of my babies, I have a lot of young girls that I mentor, or young ladies that I mentor.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is, okay, um, she's probably let's say she doesn't have good credit, and she meets a guy who has excellent credit, and they have a strategy of buying real estate properties. What we usually recommend what we usually recommend is that you don't buy you don't finance the property with two names. You finance the property with one person, but you have two people on the deed. And so if they're buying the properties, there's a limit of 10 properties that one person can get on their credit. If they want to have a big and they don't want to do LLCs, at one point now the young lady would need to start getting the financing on her name. What you're saying is that if she doesn't have good credit and the gentleman has very good credit, if he's able to add her as an authorized user, because probably her credit is young or her credit is her utilization is not that good, by adding her, it's gonna help her get good credit in a short period of time, less than a month, depending on the situation that it is. Is that what you think?
That is very correct. The cycle of reporting is 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Within 30 days, all even if you have 100 credit, within 30 days, all of them will report.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing. It's important,
correct,
guys. It's important for you to find when you're looking for your partners. Those are important things to know, right? So be like Leader Emma just said, be a good partner to find yourself and then find good partners. Yeah, that's powerful.
correct. And go ahead. You mentioned a very critical point. When you have partners, don't clump yourself together and be listed on all the assets that you guys are building.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Even in an LLC,
Yeah,
when you build an LLC, if you're going to acquire 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 properties, the two of you, of course, are on the incorporation document and operating agreement and things like that
mm-hmm.
of the LLC. But when it's time to get credit, let one person, one partner only go forward.
Right.
Why? Because if something is to happen with that lender and the lender decide to attack you, they will only be able to attack the credit of one partner, the one
Mm-hmm.
that is directly listed on the on that would be signing the deals document.
Understand. Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Let me actually. This is a situation that we have experimented with partners within our network. Lenders became, because what's happening out there in real estate, and please, we are not here painting a picture of blue sky always. No, when you step out there to invest, the number one thing I said that you should build is integrity, is relationship.
That's
Number
right.
two
Very important.
is to build an iron stomach spirit. I mean, you will have all sort of problems possible. Don't give up. So a situation where lenders out there, because there are some bad lenders, believe me. I mean,
No,
we live in the United States and we are in a capitalist nation, and the world of business is ruthless. It's not always blue sky. No, no, not at all. I know a case where a lender attacked an LLC and then attacked them in court and took the advantage of understanding the system, the legal system, to try to foreclose on a business, on a real estate business.
mm-hmm.
That business had three partners, and only one partner was listed on those deals. Even though they went and attacked one part, the deals, and then decided to blemish the credit of one partner, the other partner that was not listed on the deal went out because they have excellent credit still.
Mm.
They secured new financing, and then they bought out, they kicked out, they refinanced out this bad lender that was trying to foreclose on them, and then it was done. So never form
Mm.
a flock and all go and put your name. You have an LLC, the partners are already on the LLC. That's what matters. The LLC is the owner of the property. Let
Mm.
one partner be the
Be the
signer.
guarantor. The guarantor or guarantee?
And that way you can always be spreading
Mm.
and then having a lot of leverage.
Yeah, leader, I might want to ask you a question from the comment section. So I usually recommend to not use more than 10%. Like credit utilization, I usually say stay below 10% if you can. It's better. But um, what do you recommend? Although the credit bureau, all of that, they say stay below 30%. What is your recommendation? And I'm gonna ask you that in twofold. The other question is, do you recommend that people ask for a limit increase? I don't know if that's the technical word for it, because if you have a limit of $10,000 and you use 1,000, that's 10%, right? Comme je dis, je suis nul en maths, hein? But that's probably 10%. But if you're able to get an increase and get to 20,000, what that means is that you can use 2%. You can use 2,000, right? So is there a way to request once in a while a limit increase? Do you recommend that, or does that impact the credit? And what do you recommend as the utilization limit, in your
Yeah,
opinion?
I personally recommend, Mama Prudy, I personally recommend the standard. Why? Is because I am all about the law of leverage. Remember,
Mm-hmm,
guys, we are talking about real estate.
mm-hmm,
The moment we start to talk about real estate, what is one of the, when it comes to performance, capital performance data, the most important thing that I'm interested is return on investment. What is return on investment? It is cash on cash. I have friends that own no real estate. I have a great friend that have, and I'm not going to digress, Mama Prudy. I know I like to jump around. Don't worry.
it's okay.
So
We're
that
learning.
has well, yeah, I have this one credit card, and I have a credit limit of $25,000, and my credit is 850. And my thing is that, first of all, do you know why is that high? No, I'm like, because
You're not using anything.
you're not using it. That's even why it's high in the first
Yeah.
place. So my recommendation would be that you stay right at the standard to get the green. In the
Mm,
case of utilization rate, I believe it's 30%.
okay.
Of course, you don't want to cut too close because it's easy for you to step into 31%
You
and
without
become
knowing.
yellow and
So
lose.
you
So
stay somewhere
what I'm not
around
saying
20
you
to
get around.
25.
Okay. So let's say you have $30,000 in credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
30. You have one credit card that has $30,000, and I'm an investor. So when I see $30,000, do you know what goes to my mind? It's like 1 to 2 houses. That's exactly what. So when somebody say, "What credit card 30,000?" in my mind, it's like, okay, that's 2 houses. So, anyways, if you decide to maintain only 10%, that simply means assuming that is your only credit card.
Mm,
So that means you're only going to be tapping 3,000 out of the 30.
mm-hmm.
While in reality, you could tap up to 9,000. So when you decide to only tap 3,000, so that means you could tap up to 9,000. There's $6,000 of capital that you're going to decide to just let sit over there.
Right.
My question is that what is the performance of that 6,000 of capital in the plastic, inside the plastic? The performance is zero.
Nothing.
So if you're like me, I'm always looking for capital around and trying to make it to perform. So I would
Mm.
recommend there's no point sitting
Okay.
on too much. And guess what? Some card actually, when they find out that you have so much credit that you actually even never use, some of them would actually shrink it. That has happened before.
Oh yeah, I've seen people with that
Yes.
situation. They would just shut down the card or
Yeah. They'd be like, it's
reduce
not happening. So
your limit, your credit limit. But to your point, there's a lot of things that you can do when you have good credit. When you have a good limit, on your credit. Someone asks also, can credit consolidation hurt your credit score? That's one question from the audience.
can credit consolidation hurt your credit score? Okay, let us define the. Are we talking about settlement, or are we just talking about you have so many accounts, you decide to shrink them into fewer accounts. Is that what the person means by consolidation?
We're gonna let Modesto answer that, but while he answers that to clarify his question, I have another question here for you, which is about how what is the best way that you recommend in order to make sure that your payment history is stellar? Because if we talk about automatic payment, for example, is there a risk? Like if you set an automatic payment, there might be times when you're not really checking your statement, you don't know what's going on. But are there any tips that you can give investors as to how they can make sure that at all times they keep on time payment? Because sometimes it's not because you don't have the money, it's because you forgot to pay, right? So
Yeah, Leader Prudy is bringing an excellent point, and I am at a level with my investing that I'm learning that you get here and you hear that somebody has someone just like a bookkeeper doing things and you're like, that you can't waste that money.
right,
As
that's
you grow,
luxury.
as you
Mm,
grow within your real estate investing, your world is going to become very, very crowded with mundane little things that have such a big impact.
mm-hmm,
So it is going to be very easy because remember, when you have bought one property, you just purchase a business. The fundamental of one property alone
mm-hmm.
are the fundamentals of a business. You could be
Everything,
dealing with
yeah.
tenant, you're gonna be dealing with insurance agent, you're gonna be dealing with property management companies, you're gonna be dealing now with taxes regarding that. And
Contractors. Mm-hmm.
so the best way, what I've found to do is to schedule auto pay
Okay.
for handling and managing your bill.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan over time of the idea of giving my business account number to somebody to just and say you can draft on this day. I don't prefer that way because sometimes you might have some big things that happen, maybe a new deal, and you pull some cash and you want it to offset to just shift the days by like 3 4
Right.
days before you make that
Mm-hmm.
payment, which is still within your allowed time frame.
Mm-hmm.
But because you've given your information to someone, they're just gonna come and tap into it.
That's right.
So I like the idea of banking with an institution that gives you the ability to mail checks or to send payment to your creditors.
Mhm.
You
So
go
as a
in, you
like a bill
schedule
payment, is that right?
like
Like
bill
bill
payment.
pay section. Okay.
Yeah, a bill pay. You schedule the bill pay, and all you do now, you focus on managing what your debit account, your bank account. So you
Mm,
go in, you review the schedule of the week, you review how much cash is there. If there's any bill that is going to, let's say you have rent that is going to be coming later because a tenant didn't pay on time, the deposit didn't come on time, you can actually just change the date that you were going to pay your property manager or the day that you were going to pay, let's say, your utilities or whatever it can be, and then have that flexibility to be adjusting. But
right.
scheduling auto bill pay for all your bills, that's going to make you just focus on managing that big account where all those payments are coming,
Yeah.
ensuring there's enough money to cover, but making sure that you've already set it up to be paid automatically. So that's actually going to automate your routine, and
Right.
that's going to help you better and prevent you from
Yeah, but
doing becoming late and forgetting.
that's powerful. But what that means is that you have to make sure there is enough funds in the account at all times, right? So don't be a spender. As soon as your paycheck comes, you're already planning a party, you're already buying new things and all that. You have to have budget. And I know that one day we're gonna have either Emmanuel or someone else come back and talk to us about budgeting. What I do and to have that flexibility, like he just said, is that for some of my bills I have automatic payment, but some of them I have reminder, like a periodic reminder. So my phone would remind me on a specific day of every month that I have to send the payment for utilities or I have to send payment for internet or whatever. When it reminds me, it's usually enough days ahead of time. So I'm able to decide whether I'm going to push that a little bit because I have other things that I need to pay or whatever. It gives me that flexibility. But whatever works for you, find a way to keep your finances in order. Because when you have your finances are in good health, you're also going to be able to build your wealth better and faster. And one more thing about your credit, your payment history for your credit, if you're able to, is there a way to maybe use 90% or 99% of your credit limit, but then make sure that you pay that before the statement date? Is there a tip there? Like you have an emergency right now and you can use your credit card, but is there a time that you can pay before it's reported? I know that it's probably not clear, but I'm trying to see how I can cheat the system here. Can I use my entire $10,000 credit limit, but then pay that before the 5th of the month, which is my statement date?
Leader Prudy, you are 100% clear, and that becomes power. What you're mentioning over there is power. You
Yeah,
can, and I did miss another question that came earlier saying that should you apply for credit limit increase? Absolutely, yes.
yeah, yeah.
So you can, when you understand the sequence we're talking about, you can be using 99% of all the credit that you have, and yet you can be reporting the lowest utilization possible. Let
Right.
me explain how you do that. Discover, which is the one bank out of the big banks, because you have the Visas and you have the Masters, and then you have Discover, you have American Express. American Express and Discover have the tendency to give larger credit limits because they are a network. They are networks that are least utilized than Master and Visa, so they try to catch
Right.
up with those guys. So that's another great tip. Again, please listen. Let's say you have a credit of 680 and you want to apply for some new credit card because you want to build credit. Should you go? I've had people ask me, should I go for Discover or should I go for Visa? I say go for Discover. I'm like, why? I'm like, because they would, where a Visa card would give you 5,000 limit, Discover will give you 15.
Mm,
Okay, this is raw money we are putting on the table here,
yes. Yeah.
and pretty much same for American Express.
Mm,
So let me answer. You can build, let's say, $30,000 in credit. You can be utilizing every 30 days. You can be utilizing 28 out of the 30,
mm-hmm.
and yet you can be maintaining a utilization rate of less than 10%.
Yeah.
How? Number one, on the standard day, all of those creditors report on a given day.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into your Credit Karma, pick one card, let's say pick your Capital One, look in January, you're going to see that they reported on a certain day. February is going to be right around that same day, on that same day. March is going to be on that same day.
Mm-hmm.
You then understand that my Capital One report on the 10th. In order not to get too close, you're like, okay, I'm always going to
By
be
the
making sure that
5th.
by the 5th or the 6th is
Yeah.
paid.
Mm-hmm.
It does not matter how much credit they gave you. If they gave you 30,000 and you want to be using 28,000 every 30 days and paying it just before they report,
You will
you
always be green.
churning capital that way, and you're still gonna be able to not hurt your credit score by 1 point. In fact, Capital One is gonna be like, what a
Yeah. Yeah.
responsible. And when you call them and say, hey, can I get a credit limit increase? They, yep, you got it. You
Yeah.
bump you up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it
You know,
actually.
Peter, Emma, the reason why I'm asking you that is because we are in a real estate group, but overall, it's actually a finance group. So the idea is to help people understand how they can leverage money as much as possible so that they can make more money out of other people's money and then use that to invest in assets like real estate to build generational wealth. And some of my mentees that are in this group, they do Amazon or retail arbitrage, something like that. Retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. And some of them use credit cards to purchase the goods that they sell on Amazon. So technically, what this means is that this is gold. And I hope that some of you are here watching. A lot of you are out there partying already. But those who are watching, you understand that if you have a $10,000 credit card, you can go and buy all your items. If you have a good understanding of how your Amazon or your Walmart or your online business works or your Facebook marketplace or eBay, whatever, Craigslist, if you know how your online business works and you know how much time you usually take to sell your goods, you can actually do credit card arbitrage by using your 10,000, 9,900. You use that to buy your goods You sell your goods and make sure that you have maybe like 15 days or 20 days at the most to be able to get the 9,900. Pay those people back. You do that for a few months based on what Leader Emmanuel just said right now. What that means is that either they're going to increase that limit without asking you, or if you call them to ask, they're going to increase it for you. So we have to learn how we can leverage the opportunities that we have here as much as possible. And one side story, Leader Emma, as a good Bamileke girl, when I go here, I learned about PayPal credit, right? And PayPal credit was saying, okay, you can use all this money, but as long as you pay within 6 months, I don't know if it was 6 months or 12 months, as long as you pay within that time, you're not going to be charged any interest and everything's fine. And at the time, they were not reporting to credit bureau. So that I was only using PayPal credit, like 90% of the time for anything that I would buy, I will use PayPal credit because I know that I have 6 months to pay it back. And usually within 5 months, I would have paid it all back, 0%, no, nothing. And that was good. But that doesn't help you build credit. So now they do report it to credit bureau. You just have to make sure if you're doing all the arbitrage that I just talked about, you're using money to do. There are actually people that use credit cards to get into real estate. If you didn't know, especially those who do Airbnbs, right? Rental arbitrage. They use that to buy their furniture, to buy whatever. So you have to make sure that you pay within a time frame. And I think that Leader Emmanuel was very clear on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is great information. And I hope that someone is taking notes. We're going to take one last question and we're going to let everyone go and enjoy their weekend. Is there a risk? Is there a risk that credit companies run your credit if you request for a credit limit increase?
Some do, some don't.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Because I know that
Just clarify with them.
some of my credit card companies they just increased it without even asking me and without running my credit. But some did when I asked for the increase. So yeah, that's important because your situation might have changed in the meantime, right? Sometimes they increase your limit and sometimes they reduce it without asking you. I think that many of the questions that we're gonna have in the comment section, because you are a very, very committed member of this community, Leader Emma, I know you're still gonna be in the comment section answering those questions and helping people. I hope that those who were here at 8:22 or 8:23, I hope that you guys were able to type in the comment section that you're claiming your free credit repair consultation or credit consultation in general. And he's going to reach out to you after seeing your comment. Everyone else, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to give the opportunity to Leader Emmanuel to give a word of conclusion and also tell us how you can find him.
Yes. So what? Thank you so much for the attention from the audience, and thank you for hosting such a great conversation that kind of builds all of us up over here. Real estate, since that's the topic we have at hand, and actually credit as a tool to be more successful in real estate. Uh, if you are interested or if you've started to invest in real estate, do know that you are actually in the best form of investment that is known to mankind.
Hmm.
And since we are within the United States here and we're talking about real estate, we also deal a lot within the United States. For example, I always tell people, so what is your greatest expense? What's the greatest expense? Whether you have a job or a business or whatever. So some people say, well, it's my house. Some other people know it's my car, it's this and that. So remember, taxes. Taxes are the one thing that are going to have a direct, huge impact on your overall financial picture. Why am I saying that? Taxes at the personal level represent 35 up to even 40% of all your income. Never lose track. I would see someone say, well, yeah, I had got that six-figure job, income and everything. But reality is that when it's all said and done, you are probably taking home like what, 65,000? That is if we're
Okay.
talking about your income taxes. We
Mm.
are not talking about the tax you pay on gas, the tax you pay at the grocery store when you go over
Yep.
there, the tax you
Self
pay on
tax.
consumer good and everything. So when you look at taxes overall, it's fair to say that whatever dollar comes into your hands within this system, is half of that is definitely pretty much impacted by taxes.
Right.
On your home, you can have property taxes, taxes. So what realize the only thing that would shield you and protect you away
All
from
those taxes.
the
Mm.
problem of taxes is actually gonna be real estate as a best vehicle. Why?
That's
Because
right.
real estate is going to come with a ton of legal deductions that you can
Right.
write against not only the income coming from that real estate, but
Mm-hmm.
also from income coming from other sources. Let me
Yeah.
explain. Some people are running some Amazon stores. Let's say they are making $10,000 from Amazon. Let's say that person also own a rental property. That rental property, let's say they bought it for $100,000. Did you know that if you have an Amazon business that brings in, let's say, $2,500 income a year,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then you buy a real estate that brings in X amount of income per year.
Mm.
One of the several deductions you have from the real estate is what we call depreciation.
Right.
What's depreciation? Depreciation means government says when you buy a property every year, you're losing, the value is going down. That's so
Mm.
not true. It's the opposite that's actually true. But and that is the loophole of taxes.
Yeah.
The government allows you to claim a loss. Lost my eyes because it's the opposite
Mhm.
that's actually true. So what's
Exactly.
happening right now is that while your property value is going
It's
up,
appreciating. You're
the
also
government
claiming
is
the same
allowing
thing.
you to
Oh, yeah.
claim losses from it. Here's the point: that loss is going to go and offset and wash off the income that you made from your Amazon business.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm clear here.
Yeah.
I own an Amazon store. I made 2,500. I bought a rental property, and after 1 year, the value went up from 100 to 120. And even if it didn't go up, it's bringing
Mhm.
income. I don't care.
Mm.
But every year for the next 27 and a half years, that's the law. I'm
Yeah.
going to be claiming a loss of $2,700 from that, which comes and makes my income from Amazon disappear. So the government
Exactly.
said, even though you made $2,700 from Amazon, you made zero.
You actually made zero.
It's
Yeah.
also depreciable from the income you have at your job, whatever job you're doing. So that
Or the
is
income leader amount that you made in the stock market for those who are in the stock
everything.
market.
Everything. Because on your tax return, all that goes on the income report.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate is gonna come, even though you made money in your pocket, the paper is gonna show that you
You
lost
lost
money.
money.
Even the expenses you're gonna be claiming against real estate, first of all, you're not the person paying it, it's your tenant.
That's
The
right.
tenant is the one paying the taxes, is the one paying the interest
It,
and all those kind of
mortgage
things.
interest.
So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that is so critical. So that is important. So as you invest in real estate, do know that you are quickly, legally becoming ingrained into the system, and you
That's
have
right.
at your disposal so many financial tools to actually be keeping and making the most of all the money you're making. That's
Okay.
one of the things I wanted to leave with the audience. Number two, credit. You already are working with a great leader. Do reach out. It did not matter what credit problem you have, there are resources within this community that is available to definitely support you with that. And I said, number three, just go on, build the right relationship. Understand that you're going to hear no so many times. Let that not support you. Let the lack of money, if you don't have capital, that shouldn't stop you from looking at property. If you don't have good credit, that shouldn't stop you because we have demonstrated here that you can change your credit situation within a few weeks.
Right.
We've demonstrated you can lock in a good contract when you're making an offer on a property, getting a contract, they don't ask for your credit.
That's
You
right.
can come with such a great contract in your hands, and you can now be talking to your partners and to your network, and your credit is not going to be an issue. Money is going to be found to be able to do that deal. But again, thank you so much, Leader Prudy, for bringing value to the community in a nutshell. So gathering us, people around us, investors around
Mhm.
this table to discuss things that actually add value to everyone and makes them grow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Leader Emmanuel, for your
My
time.
pleasure.
And I want to repeat here, Leader Emmanuel or myself or everyone else that came on this platform every Friday. It's never because they know more than everyone. It's usually because they are willing to share what they know so far, their experience so far, to help you avoid the mistakes that they've made or help you make better decisions. Please do not let us be the only ones that come here all the time and talk to you, and you guys are looking at us like your television. Please reach out and offer to come and talk about a topic. If you are a contractor, if you know you're a handyman, if you know how things can, how you can save money in a house, how you can install solar panels, to save on electricity. If there are things that you know can help this community, in fact, even if you don't know anything about real estate, but you know how to make money, come here and talk to us. Tell us how you make money doing Uber. Tell us how you make money on Turo. Tell us how you make money on Amazon. Tell us all of that so that everyone can learn how to make more money, so that we can go and leverage that, use 300,000 and buy 6 properties and make $6,000 every month. And then everybody is building, generational wealth, because at the end of the day, that's the reason why we are all here. So again, thank you, all of you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for your questions. We also learned from your questions, and we're going to continue in the comment section. All right. During this week, remember to take action. The upcoming week, take action. You can rest this weekend, whatever you want to do. But next week, do something. Read a real estate book. Go on and talk to a lender. Look at your credit score. Request your credit report. Contact leader Emmanuel to discuss, a credit consultation. Do something regarding properties. Sign up with a realtor. Get an agreement with a realtor so that you can start getting properties. Get into a real estate group. Say something, do something, act, whatever you need to do. But we want everybody to get involved in real estate. And together as a community, we're going to build generational wealth. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. I wish you a beautiful weekend. Thank you again, Leader Emma. My greetings to the family and everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Good day.